record.
Okay, it's recording. Apparently I didn't have to plug it in.
You did it.
Do you all see the little red thing that says
Yes,
recording?
I do.
Sweet. We're ready to go. Rock and roll. Well, several of you asked if you could pick my brain, and it's really not my brain you need to pick. It's Nancy's. I give due credit to Nancy for having started me down this journey. So, and we've learned that each library has a different set of guidelines, or potentially could have a set of guidelines that vary. So, Nancy, if you want to start, and you can give the vision of what your energy night is and what it was, and then we'll explain how I morphed it.
Okay. Well, first of all, it was not my idea. It was Dave Stolzfus. And he was saying we have got to get our businesses down to something that a sixth grader or a second grader can do, because when it goes down through the generations, it gets kind of lost. So the least you can do to further the business, the better it duplicates and it goes on. So anyway, one of them was have everyone pointing toward one, and I guess it could be more, but he said one night in the month where everyone can send prospects. And then he also said another time would be that you would get together, but it's only with your consultants, your downline. Those are the 2 nights, the 2 times in the month that you are needing to get out and go do something, because none of us have enough time. Now with Rick Murphy's FAST team and my active downline are out of state, that is what I am doing as my monthly get together, but it's actually about 3 times a month. So anyway, back to the library. I went, I went online, read all the rules, and it was very intimidating because it looked like anything that was a business could not be there. Sorry, I'm preheating an oven. So I went through and I thought, well, I could just kind of write things in and kind of skirt the issue, but it really put sort of a bad vibration all over me, thinking that, oh my gosh, if I don't answer the question right, or if I do something, then, they're going to come in with the shepherd's crook and drag me out of there. So I thought, nope, I'm just going to go straight to the head guy and say, I've read this. I'm about education. I am a business, et cetera, et cetera. How can I use this room? And so he asked me some questions and all, and so I answered them. And then I said, now, like, for example, I thought, well, I want to be able to take people's information, if when they come. And so I said, well, now, people, I won't be selling. I will not be promoting this as a business. This is strictly education. But will I be able to take, because people will want information and I want to give it to them. Can I have something there to take down their personal information? And he paused a moment and he said, well, actually, yes, you can, because like the Little League will use that room in our library. There's no exchange of money. That was a big thing. Was that for you too, Bill? No exchange of money, but he said, yes, people are coming to sign up to be on a Little League team, but they are not taking money. And yes, the people sitting there are taking down their personal information. So that was all checked out. So the vision for me, from what Dave Stolzfus said, was that he has had several downline active people there, and each person would have a station, and they would have, like environment, water, whatever. I think maybe the 4 main stations, and they would be there. They would be responsible for that station and getting information out to the people. And they would have their own table, basically. I couldn't do that. My active people, like I said, are out of state, and one is in Dallas, but her job, I can tell you, even when she says she's going to be there, the last hour, she's going, I can't make it. My boss just called me and I've got to get this presentation ready, blah, blah, blah. So I thought, okay, it comes down to me, because all through the month, I have been pointing people. I've been showing people, demonstrating, loaning stuff, whatever, getting out there, getting the information out. But then I would say, if you want to see more, I have Energy Night walk-ins. And I really think I need better words or something so that people know that they are invited in. And that's something I'll get to. Anyway, so I have the room I have at the closest library to me is quite small, really. It's like a conference room with lots of chairs. There's 4 tables that you can arrange so it looks like a conference table. And then I have that black Nikin Discover It Live It. I'm so sorry it doesn't have Share It on it. Table drape that I put on the front, and the back part goes over the top of the table. But then I take a very nice white tablecloth and put it on top because our wraps don't show up on that black tablecloth and all. So anyway, I would just meet people as they came in and see what they were interested in, and then I would go around on the table to whatever area it was and show it. I've had Crossline and Debbie, my Dallas active person there, but the way I had it all against the back wall. That's right, the first time. But there wasn't enough room for all of us to stand on the front side of it and show everything without blocking other products. So this last 2 times I have arranged it like a conference table with people circulating around it. I took some of the ideas that Bill had and put signs up like magnetic earth energy and, far infrared sun energy, negative ion. And I put atmosphere, but I'd always put air before, but I put atmosphere, and we could go around. And then I was able to show those. This is part of what Bill did, show those in technologies with demonstrations, which I was doing before, but it was kind of helter-skelter. And then around the back side, I had the nutrition, the hair, all of that. But then I showed all of our new products with the 3 technologies together. Now, something I also had that I gave to Bill, and we've discussed this a lot, and I want to see how you cleaned it up, Bill, was that benefits sheet with the magnets, the far infrared, and the ionic technology. And that really gets people's attention, because it's really, they always you can talk about the product, but talk about the benefits. So that was really great. And they're going, wow, if I want all these technological benefits, then wow, here it is in this 21st century product. So mine is education and just one-on-one, quick. It's come and go. So they're not, I always felt like maybe I put this out there to them, that they might feel trapped coming to my home. People seem to be more open coming to the library. It's a place where you get information, so that's what we're giving. So that's basically it, Bill. You can talk about what you do and then how we...
Okay, great. Thank you. So taking my coaching from Nancy, I went to the, first of all, as I suggested that Pam do, and Becky, you do likewise, is just Google your local library. Mine's only 2 miles away, and so that's really convenient. And so I'm in my own neighborhood. I'm within the three mile rule that I love. And so I went to the library and I asked about accessing their public meeting room, and met with the gentleman and said, I've read your information on your website. And I said, what I'd like to do is to do a series of workshops, if you would, on energy nights. And I said that they would be energies from the earth, the sun, and the atmosphere. He immediately started asking me questions because he was interested, and his wife was interested in that sort of thing. And so I basically said my purpose is simply to be like a library, distribute information. And so I'd like to do at least 3 and see how it goes. Well, then the problem became getting 3 with any kind of sense of consistency, like the first and the third Tuesday of the month or whatever. And that didn't work. So the first one was on a Tuesday, and the next 2 are going to be on Mondays. And that may be the day that I'll gravitate to. So I've done 1 on a Tuesday on Earth and 1 on a Monday on infrared or sun. And then the last one will be March 27th, which is also a Monday. And it will be on atmosphere. And then what I did is I basically set up a tent on a banquet table. I got a green Niken colored cloth, because again, my understanding of what they're saying here is it must be open to the public, and that we cannot, make sales. Mm-hmm. And so no money can be transacted. Yeah, and they're very specific about you got to be out of there on time and all kinds of other things.
Yeah.
But so I didn't mention that I was with a company. He didn't ask, and I got the word out to as many people as I could that were customers. And I also went to a number of local businesses that were in that same 3-mile radius and put them on their community bulletin boards. And it's just basically an 8.5 by 11 flyer that just tells them what I'm doing. And so it just says, we're pleased to offer our first Energy Night Tuesday, February 7th at the Ada Community Library. Energy Nights will explore the benefits and features of natural energies that help maintain better health, such as earth, magnetic, sun, far infrared, atmosphere, negative ions. And this was Nancy helped me craft this. Individuals will be able to touch, experience, and see demonstrations. And so the demonstrations are the ones we all know. I did the mag steps, if you would. In fact, I actually did use the mag steps. I didn't use the M steps because I had to find every logo on anything I was using, and I just discreetly covered it with black tape. So that if somebody were to ask if I was, demonstrating a specific product and they didn't know what the product was, then it wasn't just in their face. I took the mag boys out of the case and used them to demonstrate the magnetic energy. But I rolled the backs of people with the mag duos. So I basically, the first night for magnetics, just did magnetic demonstrations. And then I did it for 15 or 20 minutes. I mean, I warmed the group up and got to know them a little bit. Turns out all of them that first night were customers. I had alerted all of them to the fact that we weren't going to talk about NECAM. We were going to talk about technologies. And they did a beautiful job, even amongst themselves, because they didn't all know who was customers and who wasn't. And then the next night, the second night, was on the far infrared. Same thing. I actually didn't wind up picking up and using the Kinkotherm products, although I'd covered the logo, but it just turned out the way the conversation went that just didn't seem to be a topic of concern. We demonstrated the comforter, and I passed around two comforters, and then I was using the third one to make the lemons be less tart. And of course, I had everybody in the room that night stand up and take a wedge. That's always works best if you have a full house. And so that was the second one. So basically what's happened is that people are laughing and asking, questions about energy and how they can do things that will make their life a little bit more comfortable without me having to say anything. One lady the first night said that she had some insoles that really helped her, and she told her story without saying a brand name. So anyway, I think that that my approach is slightly different than Nancy's. But were you trying to ask a question, Pam?
My dog is snoring.
Oh, well, your camera went live. Your picture went live. So anyway, on my screen anyway.
Let me read out.
So let's see. What else was I going to say? So I had a sign-up sheet, and I had a guest that came last time. So basically, I just had people sign in, and it turns out I told them if they wanted more information to mark the box. Well, what they all did is they used it as roll, and they all put in their check mark by Earth that first night, and then the next night they did Sun. And so I'll just push that a little harder the third time to say, hey, if you've got any questions at all, please write them down. Let me know what it is that I can do to make it more meaningful for you. So again, there were just demonstrations, lots of laughter, and when you do muscle it's just fun. I think that's a word that Brody always uses. If your demonstrations aren't fun, then you're doing it wrong. So let's see, what else? Questions that you might have at this point.
What I'm thinking is just, again, listening to what you do. I thought, if I am at this point maybe the only one there, I should probably change it from an in and out thing to come and I will do some, do a presentation. Or how do you word that, Bill?
Energy Nights will explore the benefits and features of natural energies that help maintain better health, such as individuals will touch, experience, and see demonstrations. So when they get there, I tell them that we're going to demonstrate. And when they get there, I just get to, I ask them a little bit about what they do know about these energies. And of course, some knew quite a bit and some didn't know much. And then I just, and I used, that's what I forgot to tell you. I created PowerPoint slides because my library has that ability. And so I actually go through a series of slides that introduce the topic of Earth's energy, sun energy, and so they can see what the light spectrum is. And so it truly is like a professor standing up in front of a class. But I keep it short, and I keep them engaged. So basically I spend maybe less than 10 minutes just going through some PowerPoint, and then I start demonstrating. So I say, okay, so now let's see how this stuff works, and get them engaged.
And really, on the flyer, there's nothing about come and go. So I mean, it's just come. This is the time.
Yeah.
It's just, you don't have to say anything, really.
Yeah, exactly. So
what kind of PowerPoints? What slides?
I just went in and stole the ones that Niken has in the back office, and then just customized them. And I'll be happy to share them with you, and you can customize them better. I took there's a band on the top of all of them that says Niken, and I just simply slid it up off frame. So when you look at the slide projected, you don't see Niken. And then I went through, and anywhere that it said Niken or Kinko, I just took that out and called it thermal wraps.
So are you getting people that are now contacting you for more information, or is it leading anywhere? What?
Yeah, the first night when we did magnetics, I wound up having the two ladies that were there that were customers both order mag duos. And then after the one lady said, I want a mag duo, she says, I want one of those back things. And so I also sold her that, again, all after the fact and not there. I will admit that if nobody's aware of this, I actually have an envelope for them with their name on it, and I hand that to them, and they hand me an envelope with my name on it that has the money in it. So under the table. But that happened because she was already coming, and she wanted to bring me the money, and I said, well, okay, but it's got to be discreet.
Yeah.
And that was the back flex that she got. And then she turned around that night and ordered afterwards called me and said, can I get a mag duo?
Do you give them anything with your website or anything like that on it?
No, not at this point. What I'm doing is I'm following up with them and thanking them. And then when we do our third one, I will say to them, if they're interested in learning more, here's where you can reach me.
Okay. So have you met any of them outside of the library?
The customers, yes. In fact, I had the one lady come over after she bought her mag duo, and I made sure they were set up correctly. I don't know if you knew that there was a time when you could push on the mag duo and it would go in and out, and
right.
that they needed to be installed correctly. Well, it looks like Niken's fixed the installation of them, and they were in there correctly. So all I did was just give her a quick demonstration. She was having some rotator cuff issues, and so we used the Kinko Touch on her for about 10 minutes, and we got a text the next day saying, I'm glad I bought my mag duo, but that Kinko Touch made a huge, huge difference.
So you just put tape over that word on the side of it then?
Yeah, anywhere there's a piece, any kind of a logo, I just put a little tape on it. Now, I did not demonstrate the Kinko Touch. I just did the mag duo. She came to my home to learn about the Kinko Touch. Now, I don't want to be too obvious at the library about now I will when we do the infrared, or excuse me, the negative ions. I took in my hair dryer from Revlon, and because I'm being consistent, I covered up Revlon, but it said ionic air on it. And I will go in with a Traveler, and I will cover up the Niken on it when I do the demonstration on the last week. So that's the most big visible product. But I had water for everybody, and it said living water, and I had the picture that everybody uses, of the plants, and this created quite a conversation about healthy water. I told them that next time they're supposed to bring their favorite clear beverage, so that we can do an experiment with it. So I'm trying to, my focus is I'm in a library, and I'm doing a public service for people who want to learn about, as Dave would call it, energy medicine, but I'm not using the word medicine because then that's a connotation of other things. So I'm just calling it, as Nancy does, Energy Nights.
Mm-hmm. Now, something is, see, Bill did not mention that it was a business. I was just upfront with the librarian that mine was a business. So I'm not covering up anything. He just said no sales, no big presentation about, man, join us, nothing like that. And he was fine with it.
Yeah. And
Did they
had I been asked the question, I would have answered it with integrity, but he didn't ask. So I thought, you know what?
charge ever come in and join you?
Did what?
Did the person that was in charge of this, did they ever come?
No, nor did his wife. I invited him, and he said it sounds. I'm hearing that people are enjoying it, but he has not. No, it's after hours. He's anxious to leave at 5.
Okay. Well, I thought about that too. I actually did this very similar thing at an extension office, and it was well attended by the people in that area. And I did the same thing, Bill. I moved up all of the PowerPoints, cut off NICAN, was very, very careful on what I said, and still got complained upon. And I couldn't go back.
We don't know. I mean, I've got one more. I know it's scheduled now. By the way, they have in their guidelines, they can bump me for any reason at any time.
Yeah.
So, but 2 out of 3 are done. So we'll see what happens. Now, here's a question you should ask me, because I'm asking myself, now where do I go from here? Do I repeat? And I will invite on that last one for people. I did actually this time too. I said, be sure to bring a friend if you've enjoyed this tonight. And the one lady that found out about it from her husband, who works at Costco, was nodding her head that she enjoyed it. She works at Micron, so she's an engineer type person. She was very much into this stuff. So if they bring friends, then that will grow the group, and then they won't have been to the other 2. So then I'll just recycle it. But again, that it may get into a little bit of a gray area if somebody raises the question. In which case, I'll be forthright.
How are you getting people there?
Personal invitations. I went through my list of, this was the first sheet, and I just wrote down everybody that was a customer, and I just gave them all an email invitation, and then I started texting them to remind them. Some of them responded that they were excited about it and that they would be there. So the first night we had 5 people. There were 6 of us. And then the next week we had the same thing, 5 people, but 2 of them were different customers that hadn't made it to the first one.
And what is the purpose with getting customers there rather than new customers?
Somebody that would breathe and smile when I was doing my spiel.
Okay.
My purpose is to get new people there. And we had Terry there this last time because of her husband seeing it. I was thrilled when I got a phone call from her husband saying, hey, I saw your announcement on the bulletin board, and I was just wondering, how much does it cost? I said, it's absolutely free. It's at the library. It's just information that I'm disseminating. And he said, great. And I said, where did you see it? Because I want to know where my advertising was working. He said, Costco. And I said, oh, that's not even a public area. You must be an employee. And he said, yes. And so we talked about whether it was still up, because I'd put it up 2 weeks before. I didn't get back to him on that one. I said, I'm delighted to know it's still up. He said, oh yeah, I see you've got another one coming up later. I said, would you please circle it? And he said, yeah, I'll move it higher on the board and I'll share the word with others. So people are
that
interested.
was where, excuse me,
That
where
was Costco.
You had an invite at Costco.
Yeah, I just had one of these big posters, these 8.5 by 11. This one right here, as a matter of fact. And it just mentioned that the others would be on these dates.
Well, and I would think be at your library like it is at ours. I mean, they post it online and people can pick up forms and see what's going on when. So, anybody that wants to access the library calendar, because I was getting some classes on Excel and programs that way, and that's where I was checking it out.
Yeah, there is a little twist in our library. If you are a friend of the library, meaning you're contributing something to the budget, the bottom line, like the guy that does Tai Chi, he asked people to pay $5 to the friends of the library, which is a way I could get around it if I had to. But anyway, they have a community bulletin board, so I was able to put it up there. They have a whiteboard as you walk in, so I'm able to write on there where we're at. We're downstairs. 2 boys walked in that first night that were just teenagers because they were coming to the library, and it sounded interesting. They want to know, what's this energy night? But they didn't stay. They saw all the old folks. So But where was I heading with that?
Chicago did that. Whenever they had big events there, and it was $5 donation to the library.
Yeah. So, hey, I'd donate without any hesitation whatsoever. I probably would do that on my own and not ask, the customers or the guests to do so. But anyway, they do not put it on the calendar. If you're not a friend of the library, then you don't get it on the calendar. So it's up to me to get the word out.
Yeah. What was your room cost? How did that work out for you, Bill?
It's free. It's free.
Okay. Mine was I think I told you on the call, was if I sign up for 3 months in a row, then, and the tops is 3 events. So that's my 3 months, then it's $20.
Yeah.
Otherwise, if I signed up 1 month and went, okay, I'll do it next month, well, it's 20 each time.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good that you brought that up because I was not sure what to expect. No, it's absolutely free as long as it's open to the public. That's the guidelines.
Okay.
It's no charge for public gatherings. Free.
Now
it must be open to the public.
Yeah, mine was too, and I also on all my flyers, my poster, anything I put up advertising it. I cannot put anything at the library because I'm not a nonprofit.
Oh, okay.
So I could not do that. But he did say, yes, you can put I have a framed poster, and so I put that out towards the front, and then I made up arrows, and I thought it was blue feet, but I thought that's just too hard. So I made up big arrows out of just 8x11 paper, green, of course, and put them, taped them to the ground after asking the head of the library if it was okay. And he says, as long as it isn't a tripping, hazard.
Sure.
So that helped people because my room, you cannot see it from the front. And unless you are familiar with the whole area, you wouldn't know it.
And mine's in the basement. So if you don't know that the meeting room is downstairs, that's why they have their whiteboard because they have all their other things down there. So many patrons know that, but if there's somebody that just found it at Costco or whatever, then the whiteboard lets me point them in the right direction.
Yeah. No, it's the guy, the head of his name's Sean, he has looked in, and so he has never, darkened the door. It's like he's sort of afraid. But my hope, just like Becky asking, why do you have customers there? It's because I even want to show that librarian, hey, people are interested in this.
Exactly.
And they are in here and we're having fun. He doesn't know who they are,
Sure.
But just want to show any and all. And so I even had a sign this last time. It has 2 big double glass doors. I leave one closed and have a sign on it, but then I had a sign out further saying, come on in. And on those arrows I had, energy night, sea magnets, come on in, keep coming this way. I mean, kind of like Burma Shave signs.
Sure.
I made them up the same day, so it wasn't real creative.
Yeah.
But we had a good time. There has not been a huge influx. I think Bill's ideas about putting it at Costco and businesses and all of that is huge. I had let my customers know, but they are such intermittent customers that they don't. And I have also discovered there are a lot of senior events going on. Customers that say, yeah, I have some friends. Oh, it's Thursday night,
Yeah, there's never a perfect night for everybody. So
there isn't. Yeah. So anyway, I'm thinking of tweaking it to where I'll say it starts at 6. Come and see demonstrations, etc. I'd love to see your PowerPoints, Bill.
Yeah, I'll send them to you.
I do have a screen up there. Debbie's the computer guru for me, and she was all ready with it when she came the one time, but the rest of the time she has been waylaid by her work.
So we're about to run out of time. Let's make sure we answer all the questions that Becky and Pam have.
Okay, so Nancy, you did yours once a month, and Bill, you did yours all within a calendar month, correct?
Well, not quite. I did 2 in a calendar month, but then we're leaving town for a month. So it's going to be, there's like a month and a half between the second and the third installment. I don't recommend that, but.
Yours was once a month?
I was trying, I'm going to try to do twice a month. I'm going to try to get onto a first and third Monday or something like that. They won't let you go more than that. and I can only book 2 months out.
Okay. That was my next question is how many do you have to go through? Like, oh, I'll set up 3 and then they evaluate whether they give you the space or not, correct?
Exactly. And then if something comes up, they can bump you,
You're right.
which will be
Okay.
awkward, but I've now got everybody's phone numbers and emails that have been there. I can at least contact them.
Mhm.
Right.
So are you said you're doing technologies about sun and
Or
energy and
uh-huh.
Yeah.
I'm like, where, like, is it the presentation part of NICAN that you're getting the information to put
It's
up?
just years of history. Do you know what an infrared melting plate is?
Yeah.
You've been around long enough? Okay. So I
The
melted.
far infrared plate?
Yep, I melted ice first, and what I did
Okay.
is I cut up the lemon in front of them, and I put it in a Ziploc, half in a Ziploc bag, stuck it under the comforter. Then we did the ice demonstration, and then by the time we got, 10 minutes later, we did the lemon demonstration. So those were the 2 things that I did to show
I've
about
never
infrared
seen
energy.
it done that way. How do you do the lemon one?
You cut a lemon in half and then into wedges so that people can eat one wedge. You put half of them in a Ziploc bag and stick them in your comforter sample, your little mini comforter sample. And then the other you just leave on the plate. And when you get done, you bring everybody up and you say, okay, it's time to see if the, oh boy, there goes my phone. You see if they taste first the one that's been in the comforter, which most people will enjoy very much, and then you say, okay, now let's taste the one that wasn't in the comforter, and of course it's much more bitter and tart, and everybody laughs and smiles. And
Right. Now, Becky, he said it's on the plate, but he's not talking about the far infrared plate.
Right, I got that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Well, I've never seen it done that way. I'm going to have to try that.
yeah,
So
works
what
really
other
well.
demos? I saw one on Facebook that Gary Lindner did with chlorine in the water, swishing it with your fingers.
And that was my teaser for next time, because since I have the water there, and I also, I do have a veggie tray, because Nancy had mentioned she had treats. So I've had a veggie tray. Nobody's ever really eaten much of it, so it's just a way of buying it and bringing it home. But at any rate, it's there. They all drink the water. And so I did a chlorine test right there to show them, the importance of having good, healthy living water. And but I planted the seed that when you take a shower, or you're absorbing all that chlorine, and that demo always goes over really well.
Mm-hmm.
You have your name and contact information on that flyer, or it just strictly says library on a certain night?
No, it says please RSVP to Bill and my phone number.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's how the one guy called me.
Yeah, that's fine. I just wanted to be sure that there was that put out there somewhere.
Oh yes,
You do not have cards sitting there on the table if they want to pick them up?
Nope, not at this stage. I don't. No.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not an aggressive approach to business. It's a customer. It's a community service. I mean, I really do believe that that's what we're doing. We're educating the public, and it's a soft way to get people interested.
Well, and you do want customers there because you want other people, giving, gratitude on and what they used, and so you can tell when it's not just like we did in meetings years ago.
Exactly.
You can that they're, it's really from their heart. That's what I noticed when I went back ago.
Yeah. Well,
So
and two of the people that were there the second night, which was a Monday, it was the week of Brody's Zoominar, and they came on the KVB. So I was able, since nobody else was there that night. No, there was Terry, but once she left, I told them, hey, come Thursday and learn about the new KVB. So I double dipped that night. And
so you Zoom then that night.
On that Thursday, this was a Monday night, and on that following Thursday at my house, we did both Zooms. I did 2 of the 3.
Cut off. We have less than a minute.
Yeah, because we can't. I'll have to take all the equipment in, so I'm not going to do that. I'd get them to my house. So that's what I was thinking you did.
Yeah,
it was awesome. Thank you.
You bet. We got 1 minute left. Anybody have a last question?
Oh, I can't think right off.
Well, we're here.
But Yeah, so Nancy, did you put yours out? I mean, Bill did it at Costco. How'd you get the word out?
I contacted people, and then I go to about 3 or 4 different leads groups. So I had them there and people were picking them up. I was not handing them to them. I had them in my hand. I had announced it when I stood up, and they came up and said, I want that information. They have not come yet. Most of those leads groups are in Fort Worth, and I'm in Arlington. So it's about 25, 30 minutes away. So that was a problem. So I thought I've got to concentrate on the businesses and all like Bill did within that 3-mile radius.
Yeah.
So that's another focus for me.
Yeah. And many of those, like Fed Meyer here, Albertsons, there's a number of grocery stores and drugstores that have a community bulletin board. So just walk in and say, do you have a community bulletin board? And
So
they'll
does
say, yes.
Library let you put up a flyer? I mean, a poster?
No, I had the same flyer on their community bulletin board because anything bigger than 8.5 by 11 is too big for many of them. I have some that are 5 by 7, and if the bulletin board doesn't have enough space on it.